don't know me, my name is Orlando Ramos. Orlando Ramos. I'm a bus operator at VIA, and I first met Kathy back in 2002. I just got hired at VIA. I just finished orientation, and we go on to what was called the route review. And Kathy was my line instructor. She's like the main instructor was at the time. His name was Mr. Ross, and he's like, "This is Kathy, and you're gonna go on the bus. She's gonna teach you all the routes." Now we had just learned in orientation that all the routes have arrows out there, and so we're like, "All right, cool." We get on the bus, and Kathy starts driving, and she'd be like, "Hey, y'all see an arrow before me?" And I'm like, "What? This is the one that's supposed to teach us the route." And we would get lost, and she'd be like, "Don't tell nobody." We're gonna turn around and go back to that. And we were so nervous. We had just started that meeting. We're like, "Oh man, we just started. We're supposed to be professional." And everything was a joke to her. She would always hide. And so we would stop for lunch, and she would get behind the seats. And the last one on the bus, she would jump up and scream. I was always the last one. I'd come in the bus, and she'd go, "Rah!" And I'm like, "What? Oh, man, we're in training here." And she'd do it every time. And it got to the point where, again, I'm the last one. I'm walking in the bus. I'm looking around. I don't see Kathy, so I'm just kind of like, I don't know what seat she's behind. And I was like, sure enough, "Rawr!" So we learn all the routes, and then we go on to the trolleys. And back when I started, we had the old trolleys. We had the old trolleys. They didn't have the windows and nothing. It was just an open air trolley. And these old trolleys, they had this bench that was up front behind the doors, and it sat up way high. And there was this gap, I didn't want to say it, but we called it the bus bunny seat. It's like a bus driver groupie seat. Anyways, there was this gap between the seat and the dashboard. And what Kathy knew that we didn't know, like, from the street, you can't see that area. So she would get up behind the seat, and she would do this to both me and my wife. My wife was a bus driver. She was in the same training class as me. She would hide in behind. And now, mind you, the old trolleys didn't have the computer destination, so they had very few signs. So our trolley says special on the front. And she gets on the outside microphone. We're driving downtown. We're learning how to drive this trolley. We're nervous. We're going downtown. She goes, look at me, I'm driving a trolley." Everybody outside cannot see her. They see us. And we're like, "Oh, man, this is my training here." And so training ends, and Kathy and my wife, they become best friends. I mean, they just became best friends. And they were friends to the end. And,
Amen.
For those of you that know, Kathy was the maid of honor at my wedding. And Kathy was, she went with us to, we spent our honeymoon in Las Vegas. And she went with us to She battled with diabetes as well before her cancer, and she had a lot of cheat days. And she wouldn't watch her sugar level, and she would faint on us sometimes. Well, we flew into Vegas. We're landing in Vegas, and she has this look, and my wife knew her looks already, and she'd be off, and my wife was like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Hee." And I was like, she's not okay. So she faints, and the stewardess is going crazy, like, "Oh my God, she's diabetic, she needs her insulin." So the stewardess is like, "Oh, okay, well, where's your insulin, ma'am?" She's like, "It's in my baggage." And the stewardess goes, "Under the plane?" And so that's how we started our honeymoon. And I'm trying to make make it short. I got so many stories that I could share. I'm just trying to get our best ones here. And she had the utmost spirit all the way to the end.
Yeah.
All the way to the end. And when she was in the hospital, a nurse from the cancer center that came in, and this poor nurse did not know that Kathy was aware that she had cancer. And she, in her mind, she comes in and she's thinking she's the one that's telling her the bad news. And so me and my wife, we were like, oh man, this lady doesn't know. And so she's like, you got cancer. And Kathy goes, what? And my wife jumps up to that nurse. She's like, no, just don't. She's messing with you. She's very well aware. And she was like, oh my God, I can't do this job. And she just, she had such a great, humor, but it was kind of like a messed up sense of humor. It was like almost a demented sense of humor, especially towards the end. My wife wants to come up here, but she's just too emotional, so I'm trying to share both of our stories.
Yes.
My wife and her, they were at the store. But it came with a lifetime warranty. And Kathy's off to the side, she's doing that little laugh. She had this little laugh, she just laughed herself. My wife looks over and she's like, really? And she's like, what's so funny? She's like, the rest of my life. Oh my God. And Kathy loved Via. She loved Via, she loved the buses, she loved everything about it.
Yep.
Every year we have the bus rodeo.
Oh, yeah.
And so she finds out that the past rodeo is going to be on that given Saturday. And my wife would take her everywhere, and it was so much work to take her because she was on oxygen, she was in a wheelchair, and she couldn't really walk too much. So it was kind of a lot of work, and my wife wasn't looking forward to doing that. So right off the bat, my wife's like, she's like, hey, I want to go to the rodeo. And my wife's like, nah, I don't think so. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. And it's just not the thing to do. And Kathy was like, I want to go to the rodeo. And my wife's like, no. She's like, I want to go to the rodeo so bad. And she starts doing her laugh. And we're like, what's so funny? And she goes, you know that old saying, this ain't my first rodeo? She goes, well, it's going to be my last. And we're like, Kat! And everything was a joke to her. And she just always was laughing all the way to the end. And that's what she wants today. She wants everybody to share their best stories.
That's right.
How she made you laugh. And I can go on forever, but I don't want to take too much of the time, and I don't want to break down up here. So I'm going to cut it short. And, Kat, thanks for all the great memories.
Yes.
We love you.
Yes.